Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen, welcome back to Sunday morning in the old cookbook show. Today we're going to do something out of new and exciting Allinson recipes. We've used this cookbook before. This is put out by a company that made a whole range of different types of flours, cake flours, plain flour, whole wheat flour, pastry cook flour, self-raising flour, and something called compost flour or compost flour. I don't know what that is. I'd have to look that up. I didn't look that up earlier. I should have. Anyway, so this is, I'm going to say this is late 40s, early 50s because undated, completely undated. It is a recipe book put out by a flour company in order to get you to use their flour. And so what I found with most cookbooks like this, the recipes are solid. They're well researched, they're well designed, they're foolproof. They want to build brand loyalty. They don't want you to fail with any of the recipes in this cookbook. They want you to love it so that you go back to the store and you always stick to their brand. So I find most of the recipes in these books are fantastic. And I say most because sometimes in some books, they'll shoehorn their ingredient into a recipe where it shouldn't be in the first place. They're just trying to fill out the book with extra recipes. You sometimes see that. This one grabbed me. It's called a Cup of Tea Loaf, and at first I thought it was a loaf that you would have with your tea, and then I realized no, it's got tea in it. So I have brewed up some tea. This is the regular tea that Julie and I regularly drink. Kitamai Kenyan tea. It's a strong memory tea, imported by a company here in Toronto. We get it all the time. Usually find it at Iqbal's. Now, I need a 1/4 pint of tea, and this is a UK pint, so I need 143 milliliters. I'm going to say 150 is close enough. And we're going to pour that into this pot. Use any tea. Any tea that you like, any tea that you like, that's the tea to use. Now, I'm supposed to put in a 1/4 pound of mixed fruit. It doesn't say what mixed fruit is. I kind of took from that it's dried fruit. So I've got currants and golden raisins. Currants, of course, just being a type of raisin. But I've also got some candied peel, mixed candied peel. So lemon, lime, and orange. I'm supposed to put that in the pot, bring this up to a boil, and simmer for 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes are up. Most of the liquid has boiled off or been absorbed. So we're going to turn off the heat. Bicarbonate of soda, in that goes. Immediate frothing. Pull it off the heat, and I'm supposed to let it cool completely. So what I'm going to do is put it into this mixing cup, just to get it out of the pot. These pots are so heavy and thick. They hold heat for a very long time. So into this glass mixing jug, and I'll just leave that on the counter for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. Into the stand mixer, I have some pure lard. And sugar. And we're going to cream that together. Next in is the flour. Now the recipe says to use Allinson Pastry Cook SR flour. In Canada, we have a style of flour called cake and pastry. I know in the United States, it's just called cake flour. There's a section at the beginning that talks about substitutions, and essentially they say anywhere that one flour is called for, you can use any of the other flours, and you're going to be okay. So, cake and pastry flour it is. And that's one of the things. When you see a recipe from another time or another country, you often have to make changes in your ingredients because they're just not available where you are, or they're just not available anymore. Now the recipe also says this is the point where I'm supposed to put in the cold liquid. So I've got about 1/3 of the flour in. I'll put in about half of the fruit and the liquid, and then come back to some more of the flour. Ah, all the rest of the flour and all the rest of the liquid and fruit. Okay, loaf pan greased with a parchment sling. I thought I had a smaller loaf pan, but I can't seem to find it. There's not a whole lot of dough or batter here, and the batter is very thick and heavy. I'm expecting something pretty dense. We lost all of the gas from the baking soda when we put it into the hot tea and fruit. So I'm not really expecting anything light and fluffy. I don't think I'm going to get much of a rise as this bakes. I really don't know what to expect, other than it says to serve well dredged in caster sugar. So who knows? Nothing that a little sugar and butter later can't fix. So 350 degrees or gas mark 4-5 for 1 hour. Hey, Jules.
Hey, Glen. Hey, friends. What did you make today?
So,
Does that have peel in it?
Cup of Tea Loaf.
Or just raisins? Okay.
Raisins, currants, and peel.
Okay.
So it says
I guess I don't need a utensil. There's a habit, huh?
a 1/4 pound of mixed fruit. And so I just took that to be
A 1/4 pound of mixed fruit.
1/4 pound of mixed fruit.
Okay.
It says serve well dredged with caster sugar.
With caster sugar.
Okay,
Dredged?
dredged. I don't know how you're supposed to dredge it in caster sugar. Maybe you're supposed to dip it in your tea and then dip it in the sugar. Couple things. I forgot to set a timer. Walked away and remembered later, why hasn't the timer gone off? And then realized I hadn't set the timer. So it's
I
on
would say it's a little dry. Based on that.
Well, that comes to the second point. There's as much as there's a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda in it, there's no action from the soda in the bread. You completely blew it in the pot with the fruit because it gassed up and gassed off, and there's no leavening in the actual bread.
So that being said, if you had baked it 5 minutes less, it'd be a pretty...
It's got good flavor. I would definitely be interested in trying this again and not putting the bicarbonate of soda in the pot with the fruit, but mixing it in with the flour.
I don't know that it needs any sugar, but I'm going to say that's what dredging. I wanted to just dip it, but I thought that would be a little much.
That's pretty good. Okay. I would make this again because it's got good flavor. I wouldn't put the soda in the water. I'd put it in the flour, as you would today with a soda bread or a cake. It says to cook for 1 hour, 35-40 minutes. I think would do it in a modern oven because you've got better temperature control in a modern oven. Come back at 35 or 40 minutes and test it and pull it out.
I don't think you need to dredge it in
Probably doesn't.
sugar.
Well,
Or is that something you do like right when it comes out and it's still hot? So
maybe that.
you know what I mean? Like,
But I'm sure your grandfather was like my grandfather. My grandfather would eat half a loaf of bread at lunch and just swipe it through a bowl of corn syrup.
oh no, just right out of the bowl.
Right.
No bread required. And usually molasses, but same concept.
Same idea. That was a thing back then. Okay, this is good, and I would put it in a slightly smaller loaf tin. 1940s England loaf tin was probably smaller than a 2025.
Oh yes, it would be
Canada
probably
loaf
a
tin.
little mini tea.
Overall, great. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
Mine's gone. Hey, Glen. Hey, Glen. Tell me about your lovely apron there. Of course, your mouth is full. So Glen has these lovely aprons. Glen and Friends. Perhaps there's a gift-giving event in your near future, and you'd like to give one to someone. The links are below.
The links are below. That is absolutely wonderful. They are great quality.
And some of our friends have let us know that they use it for all sorts of other things in the wood shop,
Yep.
doing other things in the garden, whatever you need.
Links below. Thanks for stopping by.